Haley writes, "We are keepers of hope, holders of memory, storytellers and song weavers, pulling on this thread of truth, this other march of history that might otherwise fail to find its footing, that life is filled with kindness, bold beauty, courageous compassion, and a wide willingness to embrace neighbors and strangers as kin."
We are here to do the work of hope, remembering the past, remembering ourselves, imagining our most possible future for this life that teeters too often on the edge of forgetting we belong to each other. We belong to each other. Come, let us be hope for each other. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning, and welcome to First Parish Church of Groton, and to our second Sunday of the new church year. I am Holly Estes. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am co-chair of your Board of Trustees, along with Allison Chase. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to the world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all, so bring all of who you are, all of your beliefs, identities, abilities, challenges, and gifts. Bring all of what you've been and all of what you've done. There is room for all of it here. Our congregation includes a wide diversity of beliefs. I invite you to freely translate the language you hear today. If you are visiting for the first time today, whether you're here in person or online, we're really glad that you found us. If you would like more information, email us at welcome@uugroton.org. We are not concerned about the noise of kids, and I hope you won't be either. However, the service is broadcast several places downstairs if anyone needs to take a break. The soft couches in each pew have quiet toys in them. We do have a religious education program starting today, and we'll sing the kids downstairs in a little while. As you may have noticed, our COVID safety guidelines have changed. Masks are recommended, but not required. We will be singing today, but we ask the congregation to sing quietly. We have created a small masks required section in the back, which extends from the back row over there, all the way over here, and then also the very back pews on that side of the sanctuary. We have a very effective air filtration system running. If you have questions or concerns, you are welcome to speak to me or any member of the board or the COVID safety team. I would like to extend my thanks to the COVID safety team who has been working hard to advise the board. We are once again holding virtual church on Zoom at 7 p.m. on Sunday evenings. All are welcome. If you need the link, email us at welcome@uugroton.org. Thanks to Melissa Wood, who is filming this morning, to Catherine Ellis Moore, who is our cantor, and to John Appleton and Suzanne Nelson, who greeted us. Julie Andrews and Gina Paridi Benedict are ushering today. They have assisted listening devices if you need one. If you need anything during the service, Gina and Julie will be happy to help you. Just a few announcements about upcoming events and happenings. Please join us for our Black Lives Matter Vigil today and every Sunday at 11:30 on Main Street in front of the church. Lemonade and snacks will be served outside after the service, with thanks to the Welcoming Committee for hosting and to everyone who brought food to share. We also have a radical usher training happening right after church today. It will be quick, friendly, and is open to all ages and all people, whether you have been here a week or a half century. Gather downstairs in the vestry, the large room beneath us, at 11:30. We have an announcement from the Caring Committee. Please sign your name on the card for Sal Lombardi, who is in hospice in Lincoln, Massachusetts. The card will be near the refreshments table outside with Donna. Thank you, Donna, and the Caring Committee for doing that. Let's stand as able and take a moment to greet each other. If you would rather not shake hands, just bow or wave to greet those around you. Please take a second to wave to the camera to say hi to the virtual congregation as well.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Faith.
Hi, y'all. Glad you're here whenever you're here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome.
Good morning, wave to the camera. Happy turn. Say morning.
Good morning. My name is Lee Kinvey. My pronouns are they, them. As you are, wherever you are, including our virtual congregation, we'll invite ourselves now to feel the energy of that music in our bodies, to bring our awareness more fully into the body. The ringing of our meditation bell has become one of our traditions that we started during the pandemic, and we kept it because it reminds us to remember that we're whole, to remember that we belong wholly on this earth, and that we're all held in a love that holds us all in tenderness. We've added a little adaptation to our bell ringing this year because focusing just on the breath isn't comfortable for folks for whom breath is a challenge. And also because the rest of us live in these bodies. So the adaptation is that you're invited into either or both of these actions when you hear these three bells. One is to inhale and then clench your fists, and the other is to exhale and then just open your hands. It helps send a message to our bodies. What does this message bring? What does this message bring? Our bodies speak. And listen. That's right. Uh-huh. You got it, Lars. That's Mama. Hi. So this first bell is for you. Inhale and tighten. Exhale. And the second is for the loved ones you're holding close in your heart today. And the third is for this whole aching, beautiful world. If you are with us remotely and you have a chalice or any kind of candle, I invite you to get that now. We're going to light our chalice here in the meeting house. The chalice is a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. It was created during World War II as a resistance symbol, resistance to hatred, resistance to the separation of people, to tyranny, to dehumanization, and a symbol of resilience and hope. And Michael Preston is lighting our chalice this morning.
Our church is a school for everyone. Grown-ups and kids learn how even though people come in different colors, shapes, sizes, minds, and beliefs, we are all still people and are important to be treated respectfully. I think kids teach grown-ups that as hard as things can get, you still need to have a little fun sometimes, and that there's always a little magic in the world. Today, we light the chalice to celebrate that we are together and learn from each other each day.
We begin our church year remembering that Ukraine is still at war, as are Myanmar and Libya and Syria and other places. And also this morning that in our country, politicians are busy treating humans as pawns in their cruel and dehumanizing political games. And yet, we always, every year, and this year is no exception, begin the church year with hope, with promise, hope and promise that are born from our prayers, from our love, and from our deepest wishes to make real the world we dream might be, the world where all are free and all are at peace. So Michael has lit our peace candle this morning to hold that promise together. We're going to join in singing Carolyn McDade's hymn, Spirit of Life. You can remain seated for this one. We will sing it first in Spanish, translated by Reverend Julia Cuervo and Erwin Barrios, and then in English.
So I would like to invite all the children to come on up for a story. We need a book holder. Thank you. Kristen is going to be our very important book holder. Come on up here. Where are you? Hey, Rose. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Olivia. Georgie. Hi, Mason. Hi, Noah. Noah, meet Noah. We have two Noahs here today. A big Noah and a smaller Noah. Hi, Mason. Hi, Beth. Hi, Leo. Okay, so I have a question for you. I asked Michael if church is like a life school, what are we teaching? And he said we're teaching that even though people come in different colors, shapes, sizes, minds, and beliefs, we're still people and are important and should be treated respectfully. Hi, Sam, I didn't even see you. Hi. So, what else? If church is a life school here, what do you think we're teaching? What are we trying to teach? What are the classes? Does any grown-up have an idea? What in the world are we trying to teach in this life school? How to get through life.
Visit what different thoughts and readings and stuff.
Yes, exactly. What do you? Yes. How to move through each day. Yes, Leah. What are we teaching here? Do you think? How can we be friends and how can we be kind kids? Therein lies the sermon. I don't need to say another word this morning. Did you know that kids, yes, Mason?
We wanted to say that one way to be kind is to
Abigail is helping Mason to express his idea that one way to be kind is to be nice to other kids. You are so wise. Do you know that kids can teach grown-ups? You know that. What do you think that kids can teach grown-ups? Michael said that there is still always a little magic in the world, and that as hard as things get, we still need to have fun. What else do you think grown-ups teach? What do you think? I think kids can teach grown-ups how to play, how to stop using a ton of words all the time, how to notice small things, how to go slow, that it's good to get dirty, things like that. So this is a story about life school. It is called Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth by Oliver Jeffers. And we've read this one before because it's really good. And Michael Preston actually told us about this book. So Mr. Jeffers, who wrote this book, says in the very beginning, "To my son Harland, this book was written in the first 2 months of your life as I tried to make sense of it all for you. These are the things I think you need to know." And then the first picture is of our solar system, one of trillions. Here we are. Do you see the arrow that says, here we are? Okay.
Well, hello. Hello. Welcome to this planet. We call it Earth. It's the big globe floating in space on which we live.
We're glad you found us, as space is very big. There is much to see and do here on Earth, so let's get started with a quick tour.
The planet is basically made up of 2 parts. The land, which is like the dirt and the rocks and stuff, and the sea, also known as water. First, let's talk about the land. It's what we're standing or sitting or lying down on right now. We know lots about the land. There is dry, not dry, flat, wet, bumpy, cold, pointing, and really hot, among other kinds. Okay, then there's the sea. But we'll talk some more about that once you have learned how to swim. Does anybody here know how to swim already? Whoa, we should be talking about the sea very soon. Okay, and there's also the sky. The sky can get kind of complicated. So we spin around the sun, and the moon spins around us. Right. And there are stars and other constellations, which are like groups and patterns of stars. There's other planets, and there's the Milky Way, which I think is a candy bar, but it's also billions of other stars and planets and all sorts of things like that. All right, moving on.
On our planet, there are people. One people is a person. You are a person, and you have a body. It has a lot of parts, such as the head, a brain for thinking, a heart for pumping blood, lungs for breathing air, bones to hold us up with, legs and arms, just to name a few. Look after it, as most bits don't grow back, except for the nails and the hair, which are bits that do grow back.
The important thing is for people to remember that we need to eat and drink and stay warm. Really important. People come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes and colors. We may all look different and act different and sound different, but don't be fooled. We are all people.
There are animals too, and they come in even more shapes and sizes and colors. They can't speak, at least in words that people understand, but that is no reason not to be nice to them. You may not be able to speak yet either, even though your head may be full of questions.
Be patient. You'll learn how to use words soon enough, and there are other ways to communicate too. Generally, how it works is when the sun is out, it's daytime. And that's when most people do stuff. Yeah, the rest of the time is night when it's dark. And save for the moon, which is bright, of course. Nighttime is when we do what? Sleep. Or we try. Things can sometimes move slowly here on Earth. But more often, especially in New England, they will move quickly. So try to use your time well. It'll be gone before you know it.
Though people have come a long way, we definitely haven't worked everything out. So there's plenty left for you to do. You'll figure things out for yourself. Just remember to leave notes for everyone. It looks big, Earth, but there are lots of us on here. 7,327,450,667 and counting. So be kind. There is enough for everyone.
Well, that's planet Earth. Let's make sure we look after it, because it's all we've got. Now, if you need to know anything else, just ask. We won't be far away. And when we're not around, you can just ask somebody else. You're never alone on Earth.
So today is our first day of religious education. In just a moment, we're going to sing the kids downstairs with Cynthia to the big room underneath us. If you're visiting with children for the very first time today, grown-ups, please accompany your kids downstairs briefly so Cynthia can meet you. The youth are welcome to go downstairs and help with the littles or hang out in the sanctuary, of course. Cynthia is going to carry the light of our chalice downstairs to religious education to help us remember that we are all one congregation.
Sophia, will you turn that on first?
There we go. So kids will go out this door with Cynthia. Youth, you can go out any door you want. We have to get another. So people sometimes say with a certain reverence that parents are their kids' first and most important religious educators. Now, in some ways, this is, of course, true. All people who nurture young children, whether parents or not, have an impact on how those children will move through the world, whether they will learn early on things like trust in other people and faith in the goodness of the world. Though I have also seen how children can be like those weeds growing through cracks in the sidewalk, managing to find the light and grow and somehow even bloom in the hardest of conditions. For most of us, our intentions in raising our children are so beautiful and good. I remember when my twins were about 2 weeks old and I ventured out in a postpartum state to buy more tiny diapers and other essentials. And I took myself to Costco, which I should have known better, but I didn't. So in Costco, I saw a mother pushing a cart full of mammoth Costco-sized stuff, and she had one toddler in the child seat of the cart who was simultaneously wailing and trying to lunge out and grab stuff from the shelves. And then she had two slightly older ones who were clinging to either side of her body, weeping. And this mother was not having a good moment. And listening to her scold her kids, I immediately started bawling. And I vowed I would never, ever yell at my children. I would never even speak harshly to my children under any circumstances. A vow I remember only because of its sheer absurdity. And years ago, when a close friend of mine was a brand new teacher and was about to begin her first teaching job, she declared to me she would never bark orders at the kids. She would never make them line up for things. She would never lose her patience as her supervising teachers had done. She planned to be calm and kind and zen all day, every day. And at the end of the second day, she called me back, crying, saying she needed to take it all back. The truth is that I have always found the idea of me being my kids' first and most important religious educator slightly terrifying. And the further truth is that I have taught them things I never intended or hoped to teach them. Once, when they were about 3 years old, they came to the dinner table. They climbed into their little booster seats, and one of them said in the sweetest, piping little voice, "Mama, I am so effing hungry." Except they said the whole world. So that's when I realized I really needed to stop swearing so much, at least around them. But of course, that was only the beginning. I didn't intend to teach them about quitting things you started, but we quit. Oh, we quit. We quit soccer, we quit karate, we quit gymnastics, we quit computer coding camps, and we quit other things I can't even remember because it turned out they hated those things. And I hated trying to force my miserable, resistant children to do things they hated that were also expensive and required me to drive them places they didn't want to go. And then there were the painful things. I hoped never to have to teach my children about autism or mental illness, but their lives have been impacted by those things, and so we had to learn. I never intended to teach them anything about divorce or shared custody or the complexity of blended families and extended families in which things are not always simple or easy. But that is the reality of our lives. And I know it is the reality of many of your lives as well. Now, I pray fervently that I have also taught them good things, not so much by anything I have said, because my kids don't seem to learn from adults, especially me, telling them anything, though your mileage may vary. But I pray I have taught them their love of reading and books. Even more important, I pray I have taught them through my life something about kindness and creating community. Now I have to say the jury is still out on this, to be honest. They are 19 now, and the things I don't know and can't do are somewhat clearer in their minds than the ones I do know and can do. Caleb still asks me why I didn't invest in Bitcoin in 2010 when he told me to. But in my defense, he was 7 at the time. I had no idea what Bitcoin actually was, not that I do now either. Last Sunday, Cynthia Williams read a quote to us by the Unitarian Universalist educator Connie Goodbread, who wrote, "Everything we do is faith formation. Everything we teach is Unitarian Universalism. The congregation is the curriculum." I've heard it said another way too. We don't have a religious education program. We are a religious education program. Now I said this to a parent of 2 little ones in the congregation the other day, and she immediately freaked out and said, "Wait, there's no RE?" And I should have said, no, I didn't mean it literally, but I do mean it. We are the religious education program, us here together. How we are and who we are and what we do and how we do it and how we make our kids feel, that is the curriculum here. And this is both very beautiful and very daunting, because it means that the children and teenagers are learning from us, and they will learn everything we teach them. But the good news is, it also means we don't have to do it alone. So what do we want to teach here, and how do we make sure we're really teaching it, and not just in our words, which I don't think our kids actually hear anyway, but in who we are, which is what they're paying attention to. Are we teaching the things our kids tell us this is a life school for? And I wish I had Michael's page here. I've got it. Are we teaching them that this is a school for everyone? And that even though people come in different colors, shapes, sizes, minds, and beliefs, we're all still people and we're important and we should be treated respectfully? Are we teaching them to be kind, to be good friends? Are we teaching them that they belong here? They belong in the pews and in the pulpits and in all the rooms, and also they belong in this community. Are we teaching them that this is a place where they will be known by their names, where they will be seen and heard, a place where their voices matter, however they use those voices, where their bodies and feelings and stories matter, where their truths will be held, even when those truths are uncomfortable for us or we don't understand them? Are we teaching them to love their neighbors and welcome the strangers in a country where actual leaders are playing games with the lives of the most vulnerable? And maybe most important of all, are we teaching our children and youth how to hold hope, how to choose hope, which I believe they will need even more than we do? considering the future they are facing into, considering this fragile, ailing planet we are giving to them, this fragmented country, the rise of fascism and xenophobia worldwide. Are we teaching them to keep unlearning our prejudices and biases and to admit when we are wrong? Are we teaching them to reckon with the history we have inherited and to uncover the untold stories even when they are painful? The stories of our spiritual forebears right here, who built the first meeting house on land they took from those who lived here before them. The stories of the amazing families whose names are on our sanctuary walls, some of whom owned enslaved people. Are we showing them how to make amends, how to be humble, how to do better? The only way I know to teach these things is to practice them out loud and honestly. And if we are the curriculum, that means all of us. And that means the children and the teenagers are our teachers too. And they're probably some of the best teachers we could have in living out this faith, because they take it so seriously. I often say this congregation is a school for compassion, gratitude, and generosity. And our children challenge us to make it true. Years ago, when Leo Primru was in middle school, he lit the chalice on a Sunday, as Michael did today. And I kept a copy of what he said, as I will keep a copy of what Michael said. And I kept it so I wouldn't forget it. He told us this: if you have any friend or family member, or if you meet someone or see someone who seems like they are alone, open up to them and give them comfort. I challenge you to help make this difference in the world, because it takes courage to find out who you really are, and doing that may help you find out who you are too. I light the chalice today for all who are still hiding, who are hiding from the fact that being yourself can make a difference. His words were powerful then, and they're even more powerful now, as I see how he has lived into them as an advocate for people with diversities of all kinds, as a peer leader at his college, as a social justice activist and maker of music and art. We learn from one another. The Tuesday morning coffee and conversation group has become kind of like my sermon think tank, and I asked them to tell me what they think they have learned from this congregation. And their responses were immediate and lovely. They said, I am learning grace in transitions from people who face huge transitions and do so with gratitude and resilience. I'm learning how to do hard things. I watch people let go as their beloveds die or they become more physically frail. And I see how they do it with open hands so they can move forward and receive the next thing. And it is humbling and beautiful. I am learning I can be changed here. When people share their stories and their spirits with me, I am transformed. I am transformed. I'm learning we can create a place of peace and healing, even when the larger culture is in deep turmoil. I'm learning the truth of Nat King Cole's immortal words. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is to love and be loved in return. Gretchen Haley reminds us of our work. We are keepers of hope. We are holders of memory. We are storytellers and song weavers pulling on this thread of truth, this other march of history. That life is filled with kindness and beauty and compassion and a willingness to embrace neighbors and strangers as kin. We are here to do the work of hope, imagining our most possible future that teeters too often on the edge of forgetting we belong to each other. So come, let us be hope for one another. So will you rise as able, and we'll sing together our closing hymn. I'm going to lift my sister up. It's on the back of your order of service, and Catherine and Sean will lead us in singing.
I'm gonna lift my sister up, she's got but still in peace. Be a blessing to this world.